those boys!
Did Mufasa's father die a natural death, or was he killed by another lion with ulterior motives? Someone like Scar? We don't hear much about him, but his story is more shocking than you can ever imagine. His name was Ahadi, and his fate was so dark that it was buried under the sands of time. But for some reason, Disney never told us how Mufasa's father, Ahadi, died. There's no grave, no story, no legacy, just silence. But when you start digging, the truth is darker than you ever imagined, and it changes everything you thought you knew about the Lion King.
You see? He lives in you.
We all know Mufasa, don't we? How he lived his life and got betrayed by his brother Scar? Well, today we aren't talking about Mufasa. We are delving deep into the life of his father to reveal how he met his end. Some even believe that Disney is trying to keep this a secret, or perhaps they're trying to confuse us. In the recent movie, Mufasa, we are introduced to young Mufasa and watch as he's showered with love from his mother and father as the heir to the kingdom and the future king. But a flood threatens to end Mufasa's life and his father dives in to save him. So did his father lose his life in the flood or not? It's unclear from the movie, but what we know is when a grown-up Mufasa finally reunites with his family in Milele, he's told by his mother that his father is no more.
Oh, Mufasa.
But father? Where's father?
He lives in you now? What are we to do with that information? It could be that Mufasa's father never lost his life in that flood, but of natural causes or something. But that remains a theory. But again, all these exist in the movie. The book, on the other hand, is a whole new dimension. The Lion King books introduce him as Ahadi, a mighty ruler who once led the Pride Lands before his sons. But how did his reign end? That's where things get interesting and chilling. Ahadi was said to be a powerful and respected ruler, but he wasn't exactly fair to both of his sons. Yes, according to the book, Scar was Ahadi's son and brother to Mufasa. If you've ever wondered why Scar is the way he is, Ahadi might be a big part of the answer. According to the Lion King lore, Ahadi clearly favored Mufasa. He was grooming him to be king from the start, teaching him the ways of leadership, giving him responsibilities, and making it crystal clear that he was the golden boy. Scar, on the other hand, ignored, pushed aside, left to watch as his older brother got all the praise and attention. Sound familiar? That's because it's exactly what Scar later did to Simba. Ahadi's favoritism may have planted the very first seeds of Scar's resentment. Imagine growing up knowing your father sees you as the lesser son, that no matter what you do, you'll never be good enough. That kind of bitterness doesn't go away. It festers. And that's not all. If we go back to the movie, we see a different reality. First off, Scar was not Mufasa's brother. He was adopted into Scar's family, and Scar was not always Scar. His birth name was Taka, which, depending on the interpretation, can mean waste or want in Swahili. Let that sink in. His own name may have suggested he wasn't wanted. Whether or not that was Ahadi's intention, the damage was done. On that, the book and movie are together. But at some point in the book, Taka was injured. Some stories hint that it may have been an accident involving Mufasa. Either way, he was left with a permanent scar, and that's when everything changed. He started calling himself Scar, and instead of just being the neglected younger brother, he became the bitter, cunning lion we all know. So, was Ahadi a great king? Maybe. But was he a great father? That's highly debatable. And here's the most chilling part. If Ahadi's treatment of Scar was already driving him down a dark path, what if Scar saw a way to end it all? What if Ahadi's fate wasn't just some tragic accident? That brings us to the real question. How did Ahadi die? Let's dig deeper. The answer might be darker than we ever imagined. Did he die a natural and peaceful death? Unlikely. This is the Lion King, not some peaceful retirement home. Every major king we've seen either died tragically. A quiet, natural death wouldn't fit the pattern. So, was there a betrayal? Now we're getting somewhere. Scar's entire character arc is built around backstabbing. He was cunning enough to orchestrate Mufasa'S murder, so what's stopping him from having done it before? Is it really that far-fetched to think he might have done the same to Ahadi? While this is an interesting revelation, the movie may not have covered what truly happened. Many believe Scar had a role to play in the death of his father and his brother. Remember, Scar's plan to kill Mufasa wasn't a simple attack. It was cold, calculated, and precise. He knew how to manipulate, how to set a trap, and how to let someone else do the dirty work. What if this wasn't his first time? What if Ahadi's death was his first real taste of betrayal? And it all makes sense. Ahadi, growing older, still favoring Mufasa, still overlooking Scar. Scar, waiting in the shadows, watching, knowing he'll never be king as long as his father lives. What if he saw an opportunity, a way to take control? We don't have the full story, but if Ahadi's end was sudden, unexplained, or suspicious, Scar would be the first one we'd suspect. And that leads us to another big possibility. Was Ahadi a target? Scar didn't kill Mufasa with his own claws. He outsourced it. He used the hyenas to do his dirty work. That wasn't just a last-minute decision. It was the move of someone who had done this before. So what if the hyenas were involved in Ahadi's death, too? We know one thing about Ahadi for sure. He ruled with a strict paw, and part of that meant keeping the hyenas in check. According to the Lion King books, Ahadi saw the hyenas as nothing but trouble. He kept them on the outskirts of the Pride Lands, starving and desperate. Sound familiar? That's exactly what Scar changed when he became king. He let the hyenas in, he gave them food, he treated them as allies. Could this have been part of a long-standing deal? Maybe Scar, frustrated and furious with Ahadi, finds himself in the company of a few bitter, hungry hyenas. Maybe they talk, maybe Scar realizes they have a mutual enemy, maybe an agreement is made. Hyenas are scavengers, sure, but they're also pack hunters. They could take down a lion under the right conditions, especially if that lion was old, injured, or caught off guard. And just like that, Ahadi is gone. Scar doesn't have to fight, he doesn't have to get his paws dirty, and suddenly, he knows something powerful. He knows how to eliminate a king without ever touching him. Years later, when the time comes to take down Mufasa, he doesn't hesitate. He's done this before. If Ahadi really died at the hands of the hyenas, with Scar pulling the strings, then The Lion King isn't just a story about betrayal. It's a story about a cycle of murder, one that started long before Mufasa. If Ahadi really was betrayed, if Scar played a role in his father's death, then what happened next is almost too perfect to be a coincidence. Because when you step back and look at the bigger picture, you start to realize something chilling. Scar didn't just kill Mufasa, he followed the exact same blueprint. Scar took the throne the same way. He took his father's think about it. In both cases, there's an older, stronger king standing in Scar's way. In both cases, Scar isn't powerful enough to take them down on his own. And in both cases, he lets someone or something else do the killing for him. With Ahadi, it may have been the hyenas. With Mufasa, it was the wildebeest stampede. Scar was never a warrior. He didn't fight his battles with brute strength. He fought with strategy, deception, and patience. That's what makes him one of Disney's greatest villains. And that's why his story is so much darker than we ever realized. Here's the really twisted part. If Scar did use the hyenas to kill Ahadi, then they were never actually his allies. They were his weapons. He played them against Ahadi, then he played them against Mufasa, and when they had served their purpose, he turned on them too. By the end of The Lion King, Scar tries to pin everything on the hyenas, thinking he can weasel his way out of trouble. But they're done being used. They attack him, and just like that, the cycle of betrayal finally catches up with him. Scar lived by betrayal, and he died by it. But here's the real question. Was this all just fate, or did something even bigger cause history to repeat itself? Maybe Scar's betrayal wasn't just about resentment. Maybe it wasn't just about power. Maybe it was about something much darker, a curse. The Pride Lands seem peaceful, but their history is full of tragedy. Kings don't just pass down their crowns, they pass down their fates. One ruler is betrayed, the next is betrayed in the exact same way. It happened to Ahadi, it happened to Mufasa, and if Simba wasn't careful, it could have happened to him too. The Lion King may be a story about destiny, but if you look deeper, it's really a story about a doomed bloodline, a cycle of betrayal, and the price of power. Disney did not directly mention how Ahadi died, but if the past is any clue, we already know. Because in the Pride Lands, history always repeats itself. Now, over to you. What do you think? Could Scar have had a hand in Mufasa's father's end, or is there some other theory more likely?